I'm not trying to be outnumbered at my own course. It'd be nice to get as many people and as many bodies out there as possible to kind of keep us rallied.
We're no longer the hunters, we're the hunted, you know, and so it's something that we've kind of talked with the team about as well, and understanding, hey, it doesn't matter, especially in our conference, you know, who you play, it's going to be a battle. And now that, you know, we're kind of, you know, receiving votes and ranked and in that position, you know, those teams that are trying to make those strides, you know, they're going to give us their best shot. So we have to be able to perform at a high level.
I can already tell Jake Plocher, Cody Ingold, they're just revving it up. So here you go, guys. Third-year head coach of Missouri Western Volleyball, Jessica Fye, joining us.
Awesome.
And
Thanks.
you know what? That is well-deserved because, wow, how good has volleyball been this season?
You sit there and you say bye week, and you know, you think you're taking a week off, but that's not the case. It's probably more so, you know, because not only are we going to start looking at UCO, but we're also looking at ourselves.
You're listening to the Griffon Sports Insider Podcast, live from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill in St. Joseph, Missouri. It's our live weekly chat with Missouri Western coaches and athletes. Here's your host for the Griffon Sports Insider Podcast, Tommy Rezach.
Well, happy Monday, everybody, and welcome back to Hi-Ho Bar and Grill and our Griffon Sports Insider Podcast on this Monday, October 21st, recapping another pretty busy week of Griffon athletics and gearing up for another busy week here on our campus. I'm Tommy Rezach, Cole Weiberg, Connor Peters on the camera, Rick Leahy, our audio engineer. We're glad you're with us, whether you're listening on the Varsity Network app, gogriffons.com/listen, and welcome to our in-person audience here today at Hi-Ho. Big thanks, as always, to our host, Hi-Ho Bar and Grill in downtown St. Joseph. Got a good show lined up for you, a busy one, as Missouri Western men's golf has teed off the week. They're concluding their fall schedule here today and tomorrow at the Washburn Invitational. That's at the Topeka Country Club right now. The first of two rounds underway, and Missouri Western men, man, they've had a good run here these last couple of weeks in the fall as men's golf, and they're sitting third place in the team standings right now at 2 over par, just 8 shots off the lead at this point. Looking at the player leaderboard, yes, Jeff Johnston's in the top 10. He's 1 under par through 13 holes, just 3 shots off the lead, so pretty early in that event. Of course, Jeff Johnston, a winner a couple of weeks ago at the Holiday Inn Express invite at St. Joseph Country Club, so that was pretty exciting. We'll continue to watch that, and we'll have updates and scores from golf on our website at gogriffons.com. Going in no particular order here is a busy week for our fall sports. Missouri Western Volleyball went on the road and got a couple of victories. They took down Pittsburgh State on Friday night, 3-1, and then had a pretty easy time with Newman in Wichita on Saturday, winning that in straight sets. So volleyball now enters the week 16-4, 7-2 in the MIAA, winners of 4 straight. Volleyball will be in action tomorrow at Liberty, William Jewell College, Tuesday night at 6 o'clock, and then home to Northwest Missouri State Saturday at 2. The Saturday match, not only Alumni Day for Missouri Western Volleyball, that'll be a blackout. You're encouraged to wear black and paint it black there at the Missouri Western Fieldhouse. Missouri Western Soccer, yes, still undefeated, 12-0-2 now. Fort Hays State joins Northern State as the only teams in 2024 that have even managed to draw Griffon Soccer. Missouri Western went into Nebraska Kearney Friday afternoon, beat the Lopers 1-0, and then a scoreless draw at Fort Hays State on a warm and windy day in west central Kansas. But still, at 12-0-2 overall, 7-0-1 in the MIAA. The Griffons still atop the MIAA standings, and at long last, nationally ranked. We learned that 6 days ago, number 20 in the coaches poll. We'll see how that changes with the new polls coming out tomorrow. But the big thing is we got to watch for now the regional rankings. The latest projections I saw from, I think the guy is called Inkblot. He's on Twitter, does a great job. Missouri Western, as of last week, projected as the top seed in the Central region. So that's really exciting. You look around the bend for Missouri Western Soccer with just 4 matches to go. Yeah, very clearly looks like we're going to be, at minimum, hosting an MIAA tournament quarterfinal match. But one thing at a time here. Missouri Western Soccer back home, the final home matches of the regular season. They'll host Pittsburgh State Friday night at 7, and then Senior Day for Missouri Southern on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Both of those out at Spratt Stadium. Speaking of Spratt, there was a lively atmosphere on Saturday for Missouri Western's homecoming. We had a beautiful day for a game that was televised on 38 The Spot. Myself and Chris Roush getting to broadcast that. Before we get into the football, I do again want to say a big thank you to our entire Griffon Sports Insider team. Ryan Mendley, Connor Peters, Cole Weiberg, and all of the operators behind the scenes. Rick Leahy, Jimmy Taylor, Zach Hayes, Darren Doyle. So many people that made it work. We were juggling a little extra. It was high stress. We wanted to show out, put on a good product for our viewers, our listeners, for the conference, and for those watching on 38 The Spot. And thanks to the efforts of the people I just mentioned, I think the broadcast went really well. And, you know, even though it didn't go our way, what a game that was from start to finish. Incredibly personal, incredibly chippy, and obviously incredibly close as Nebraska Kearney snuck out with a 24-23 win, kicking that field goal as time expired. It's what we did in Kearney last year. It took us a field goal to get out of there, so it's been quite a series with Nebraska Kearney these last few years. And win or lose, I think it's a big relief now that Missouri Western football gets a bye week, right? We're not used to that at the Division II level. At long last, the Griffins, after 8 straight games, will get to kind of breathe, take a step back. And we also know that we don't have to travel anymore this football season. That's got to feel good. Still 3 home games to go. The next home game comes up Saturday, November 2nd, for the Rogers Pharmacy Hall of Fame game. And it's a tough game indeed. The new D2 football polls just came out. Central Oklahoma undefeated. They are the lone unbeaten school left in the MIAA. It's at now 7-0, and they are up to number 6 in the country. So Missouri Western, that's the next game, UCO, Saturday, November 2nd. So really, the bye week could not have come at a better time as the Griffins prepare for that challenge. On our campus, Missouri Western men's and women's cross country not only back in action, but Missouri Western State University will host the 2024 MIAA Cross Country Championships at the Griffon Cross Country course off of 50th Street on our campus. 10 a.m. start for the men, 11 a.m. start for the women this Saturday. And any fans, any supporters who come out to watch, you're encouraged to wear black, paint it black. It's a blackout for that meet. And tell you what, volleyball is on Saturday at 2. Football is off this Saturday. So hopefully a good contingency of Griff supporters can come out there and support Cody Ingold and his runners as they take on the rest of the conference in the conference championship races. On a basketball note here, yesterday at the Missouri Western Fieldhouse, of course, was the 4th annual Play Unified Day in partnership with Special Olympics Missouri. A huge shout out to particularly Missouri Western men's basketball assistant coach John Hood, all of Coach Martin's staff, both men's and women's basketball programs combining to put that event on. Video highlights of it are available on the Missouri Western Athletics social media pages at Facebook, X, and Instagram. You can go back and watch that. What a heartwarming, meaningful, impactful day that our both basketball programs have come on to put on these last few years, and yeah, all of our athletes, basketball athletes involved there too. So that was a terrific event. And one other event as it pertains to the Missouri Western Fieldhouse and things happening on Sunday. This Sunday, it's the 2nd annual Trick or Treat with the Griffs. That's happening from 4 to 5 p.m. at the old gym at the Missouri Western Fieldhouse. That's another event going on. So there you go, loaded week. Despite it being a football bye week, still plenty going on. And yes, we'll have basketball a week from this Wednesday when the women go to the University of Iowa for that exhibition. If you haven't seen, 6:30 tip time for that one, and yours truly will be down there to call it for you, and you can listen to it for free live on the Varsity Network app and at gogriffins.com/listen. So that's what we've got for you. We're going to take a break. We'll hope you'll stay with us over the next hour, and we'll talk cross country. Cody Ingold and his team getting ready, like we said, to host the MIAA Championship. So an exciting time for the program and for the conference. We'll talk with Coach Ingold next. It's the GSI Podcast live from High Hope Bar and Grill on the Griffon Sports Network. Continuing from High Hope Bar and Grill, we're off and running on the Griffon Sports Insider Podcast. I'm Tommy Rezach, and joining me is, well, he was last week's co-host, but now that he's got competition this week, I figured I'd take it a little easier on Cody Ingold, the men's and women's cross-country coach. Yeah, a warm welcome.
Wow.
How about that?
That was nice.
High praise, yeah. Well, Coach, you've been off for a couple weeks, conference championship week. We're back at home. That's nice, coming off the Griffon invite from October the 5th. Just, I don't know, how excited are you? I know from an operational standpoint, from an event running standpoint, that a couple Saturdays ago, that was a huge success with the Griffon invite. So knowing that we get to kind of put on for the entire league, just how you feeling entering that?
You know, I'm excited that I'm going to spend more time worried about making sure the course is ready and everything else, and not stressing about the team. So that's going to probably be a breath of fresh air. I won't be annoying to the kids and kind of stay out of the way. So I'm excited. We looked really, really good for the last 2 weeks. So just got to stay healthy for the next 5 days and show up on Saturday. So
yeah, and again, those races starting for the men at 10 a.m., the women at 11. When it comes to regionals, is the next race on the schedule, which come up November 9th in Joplin. This meet always pretty important, right, when it comes to regional seating and positioning and things like that.
Yeah, we'll get to go regionals regardless, but this will be our opportunity to beat some regionally ranked teams, kind of set ourselves up for the regional meet. You still have to show up at regionals to make a national meet. So, we're going to try to pull off one of the biggest heists in MIAA history and see if we can try to win it. I think we have a team that's really, really good. It's just the MIAA is so good right now, and so good from probably 8 all the way to 1 in our conference. So. We just got to show up.
Well, you're not that far off because since we've last talked, your men did crack the regional rankings at number 10, finishing in the top 10 in the Greeno-Dirksen invite, finishing 4th out of 7 teams this past Saturday. I mean, 2 years in a row that your men's team has cracked the regional rankings.
Yeah, and I think we're better than what that was. So it's just, if we got 2 guys that that are kind of on the edge, and if they show up this weekend, we're going to have the results we're looking for. And, I've talked about this a few times, but the good thing about our team now is the depth is there, so if they're off, we're still pretty good. We're just way better with them. So, just pray that we're ready to rock and show up. The Hayes in the barn, we don't need to do anything else training-wise. There's no planning. It's all they know what they need to do. We just got to show up, and, that's the hardest part sometimes is you can be prepared, but it's 25 minutes of running by yourself and with only you and your thoughts and people around you. And, so – the one thing, anybody that's listening, needs support out there. I know Northwest is talking about bringing a bus up of all their kids.
Oh, wow.
Pitt always travels well with their kids, so my own course. It'd be nice to get as many people and as many bodies out there as possible to kind of keep us rallied. So.
Yeah, 10 and 11 a.m. is the start time. Football is off like we talked about, and volleyball taking on Northwest later in the afternoon at 2 o'clock. So really no excuses. A great opportunity, kind of a rare opportunity just to go right down the street and support Missouri Western cross country. And let's see. I guess that in mind, you guys this has been circled on our calendar a long time, right? We've been talking about it a lot, and you've been running and training on this course so much. Just the fact that you guys know this is a fast course, all the bends and turns, what kind of advantage does that give just being at home here?
I mean, it gives a lot of advantage because it's you go out there and you don't realize how fast it can run. It's hilly, so it's just knowing when to move, where to move. And just being confident in our ability that we're going to be fine. We're going to have to take some risks this weekend, and hopefully they pay off. And it's been nice. We've had some really challenging workouts. Some of the most challenging workouts we've done since I've been here out there. So it's been good because they've gone to some pretty dark places for a little bit of time, and they've rallied and been fine. So I'm excited. Just gotta show up. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, it feels like we've been talking about this event for weeks and months, and finally the rubber will hit the road this Saturday, or will hit the grass, the cross-country course, as Missouri Western hosts the MIAA Men's and Women's Cross Country Championships. First time ever in the program's history. 10 and 11 a.m. The men leading us off. Cody, anything else before we get going?
Yeah, don't congratulate Jake and his soccer team for being ranked, because they'll just tell you, well, being ranked doesn't win you games. That's what he told me via text. So I'm no longer hooting and hollering for soccer when they come up.
Well, thank you for making that statement.
Yeah, you're welcome.
He's not wrong, though.
You can win games. People are intimidated when you come in and you're ranked.
Yeah.
So having a number next to your name can help you win games.
Yeah,
right.
I think they're going to get everyone's best shot.
Do you think the Nebraska Cornhuskers were ready to play the Indiana Hoosiers this weekend, or were they scared because they had a number next to their name?
Well,
I'm just saying, Tommy. The number matters.
It's been 8 years since they've beaten a ranked team. So, yeah, I agree. It does matter. I don't say it doesn't matter.
Just tell Jake
it does
that.
Matter. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he needs to know.
Well, we'll debate it in the next segment.
All right, sounds good.
Cody, thanks
you.
All right, appreciate it. There you go. Cody Ingold, Missouri Western Men's and Women's Cross Country, plus a little extra. Conference championships in our city this weekend. Exciting times. We'll take a break, and yes, the aforementioned Jacob Plocher, along with senior defender, Katelynn Rowland is here. So Katelynn and Jake will come up here to talk about another great weekend of soccer. 2 matches, the last 2 home regular season matches coming up this weekend. We discuss it next on the GSI Podcast from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill. Continuing from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill, it's the Griffon Sports Insider Podcast as we talk Griffon soccer. Yes, still undefeated Griffon soccer. 12.
He lied.
He did lie. Your credibility is gone, Cody. 12-0-2 overall, 7-0-1 in the MIAA. Now, the Griffons have beaten 12 teams, and only 2 teams have said that they could even have drawn with Griffon soccer, Northern State and then Fort Hays State just yesterday. Here to talk about it, Jake Plocher, head coach, senior defender from Aurora, Colorado, Katelynn Rowland. Katelynn, welcome back to the program. Good to have you both here. And
thank you.
Jacob, I think you told Brandon Dugan, our SID, in the recaps that maybe it wasn't the most stellar weekend, but the point is, you didn't lose. You get points. You did get a win there. And you've found a way to just kind of survive and grind things out. Just what do you think this team kind of learned about itself this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, again, that is definitely a hard road trip just because of whether it's the elements, whether it's the distance. So to be able to kind of come out and kind of control both games, we would have ultimately liked to have gotten the results yesterday, left a few points out there. But, we still control our own destiny, which is nice. And, it's progress from even, like I said, how we performed and played against them last year.
Yeah. And Katelynn, for you, there's so much defense being played right now. 6 straight shutouts. And, again, for 80 minutes, it was looking like maybe a scoreless draw at Kearney on Friday. For you played all 180 minutes this weekend. Just how do you feel like this team has just really turned it up a notch on defense? We know what we've got in a terrific keeper in Keeley, but for you defenders on the field, what's been the key to this success the last few weeks?
I think it's really the chemistry. I mean, this back line has been playing together the last 2 years, and I think that plays a huge role in how well we work together. And then throwing Annie in the mix, just having her in front of us is huge for us. Just game in, game, like each game, each week, we're getting better playing together, and the chemistry is huge.
Yeah, Annie McDevitt, a big piece of it, an all-conference midfielder for Missouri Western, a defensive mid playing for the Griffons the last few years. Well, let's talk about it. Let's start with Friday. Again, a 1-0 win at Kearney on a Friday afternoon. And you were telling me rain showers kind of popped up randomly during the match. But 1-0 the final. Rachel Benavidez, a goal in the 81st minute. Perhaps some points left out in this one. 17 shots, 9 on goal. 8 corner kicks, and Katelynn Rowland herself, 3 shots on goal in that match. Pretty clutch moment there by Rachel. We've seen her come in the clutch a lot on offense. Just overall thoughts on the 90 minutes on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, Kearney is a much improved team. They've had some good results. They tied Northwest on Sunday. So, we knew it was going to be kind of a battle, and not to mention they were a team that's, kind of fighting for one of those final 8 spots for the conference tournament. So we knew we had to play our best. Throughout the game, I thought we did a decent job of being able to kind of control things. Still probably wasn't our sharpest game. And throughout the match, we kind of felt like it was going to happen. Like there was going to be a goal that we would be able to find, and thankfully, Rachel had a beautiful strike and was able to put it and find the back of the net.
Absolutely. Moving ahead to Sunday, again, going to Hays, Kansas. These are 2 places in the United States, Kearney and Hays, where it's by and large going to be windy, and it was the case on Sunday, a 0-0 draw with the Fort Hays State Tigers, another team that's been playing better here this season. Yes, the 11-game win streak, a program record, that's been snapped, but unbeaten record still, of course. 6th straight shutout, we talked about that. So it's been since September the 27th since a Griffon opponent has even scored against this team, so that's pretty remarkable. Again, the Griffons with opportunities, 11 shots total, 3 on goal, called offside 4 times. That's kind of a bugaboo, but Hays held to just 1 total shot on goal. So Katelynn, defensively, lots to like there. I don't know, just how do you characterize a kind of an odd day on Sunday?
I think we played really well. We were going against the wind in the first half, which was a struggle.
Yeah.
I mean, we always try and get the wind in the first half to use that to our advantage. And I think we did well. We put the ball on the ground. We knocked it around. We were in their half most of the half. I think just being more composed in that attacking third is something we need to work on, and not wasting so many opportunities in crucial minutes of the game. But it's a learning process.
Yeah, always is. Every match is, I think. We've got 4 of them left. We'll play the last regular season home matches this weekend. Nationally ranked, as we talked about, number 20 in the country. And, of course, we'll have to be on the lookout for Central Region rankings coming soon. Expectations obviously high at this point, Coach. Very exciting to think about what could be around the bend for this program come November and stuff like that. But that being said, how focused is this team on righting some wrongs from the weekend and just keeping your head down and trying to finish strong these next 4?
I think very. Even getting the result of the tie, I think a lot of the girls kind of felt that as kind of a loss just because of how things have been. And we talked about it all the time. Okay, well, how do we respond? How do we use that, throughout the week of practice and preparation for the upcoming games? So, we'll take it one day at a time, one game at a time still, and try to, finish out the season on a high note.
Yeah, I'll kind of follow up since Cody, brought it up unprompted. To be ranked is obviously a great thing, but, how does that change things, if at all? Like, obviously, anyone in the league is going to give them their best shot because we're at the top, but does the ranking change anything in your mind as you enter these matches like these? Or
I think it does. I think, again, it's one of those where, we're going to get everyone's best performance because of the ranking. We're no longer the hunters, we're the hunted, and so it's something that we've kind of talked with the team about as well, and understanding, hey, it doesn't matter, especially in our conference, who you play, it's going to be a battle. And now that, we're kind of, receiving votes and ranked and in that position, those teams that are trying to make those strides, they're going to give us their best shot. So we have to be able to perform at a high level and take care of the opportunities when we get them.
Well, the next 2 teams on the docket, that being Pittsburgh State and Missouri Southern, and it's the first year of Pittsburgh State women's soccer, and my hat's off to them. They got off to a really good start in the non-con, and they come in 6-5-2 overall, 2-3-2 in the MIAA. Not bad for the first year of a really tough conference. And then Missouri Southern coming in on Sunday for Senior Day. Southern still seeking their first conference win of the season, 1-8-4 overall, and then 0-5-2 in the MIAA. Katelynn, Senior Day for 6 seniors. You've spent all 4 years here. Obviously, one thing at a time. We play Pitt Friday, and then still certainly a lot of season to be played even after Senior Day. But to get to share a moment with you and 5 others who will be honored. Always emotional every year. Just how do you feel about it with Senior Day coming up this week?
It's bittersweet, but like you said, it's a very emotional day. Everybody's family's there, and you only get it once.
Right.
But so I think we just need to focus on kind of putting the emotions aside and getting through the game, and then we can really soak it all in after with each other. We're having a little banquet type meal together, so that's our time to really soak in senior night after the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So many great seniors being honored. Madeline Pearl, Elizabeth Pujado, playing her former school, Missouri Southern. Lauren Nyland, who's obviously had a terrific season on defense and in goal scoring for Missouri Western. And, of course, our great goalie, our 2 keepers, Keely Krunenberg and Sophie Wellinghoff, getting honored on Senior Day here on Sunday. Coach, have you had time to kind of study these teams at all? Just what do you make of Pitt and Southern coming in?
Yeah, obviously Pitt's kind of a little bit more of a question mark just because they are a first-year program, but, they're going to be athletic. They're going to be hungry. They're, right now they're either at that 8th spot or at the 9th spot looking in. So they're going to be hungry to try to claim, a postseason berth. So, we have to, again, like we've talked about, make sure that we perform at a high level, especially with it being back at home. It's just focusing on the task at hand.
Yeah, right now Pittsburgh State is 9th, just a match behind Northeastern State in 8th. So yeah, they're playing for their postseason lives right now. And kind of following up with what I asked Katelynn, some of these seniors like Katelynn, they were here before you were, and what has this group meant to you as you've obviously gotten something really good established here in less than 2 seasons?
Yeah, a lot. Again, when I first got here, with them being sophomores, finishing up the sophomore year, getting ready to go on their junior year. Yep. They've been through a lot, so to be able to kind of buy in and be able to see all that hard work paying off and to be able to, hopefully send them off on a very positive and high note and a great memory is something that we want to do with every class. But, this group specifically has that opportunity and that chance. So we don't want it to end. So we're going to keep performing to the best of our ability as long as we can.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants this to end at this point. Pittsburgh State, that's the match Friday at 7. You're encouraged to wear purple that night for domestic violence awareness, partnering with the YWCA YMCA here in St. Joseph. And then, of course, Senior Day on Sunday, a 1 o'clock start there at Spratt Stadium. Missouri Western Soccer still unbeaten. Drew Fort Hays State yesterday on a windy day, but still atop the perch in this MIAA and arguably atop the perch in the Central Region. 4 matches to go. The last 2 regular season home matches come this weekend. So, again, it's a football bye week. That kind of frees up some time for all of us. So get out and support the Griffs. Coach Plocher, Katelynn, Rowland, thanks for the time. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, thanks for coming. There you go, Jake Plocher and Katelynn Rowland on this part of the GSI podcast. Let's take a break. We'll talk volleyball. They had themselves a pretty good weekend on the road. We'll talk about it. And Missouri Western Volleyball will get to play at home this weekend again. They're also playing at William Jewell tomorrow. We discuss it next from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill on the GSI podcast. Continuing from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill on the Griffon Sports Insider Podcast, I'm Tommy Rezant, shifting gears to volleyball. I can already tell Jake Plocher, Cody Ingold are just revving it up. So here you go, guys. Third-year head coach of Missouri Western Volleyball, Jessica Fye, joining us.
Awesome.
And
Thanks.
you know what? That is well-deserved because, wow, how good has volleyball been this season? 16-4 overall, 7-2 in the MIAA now. Winners of 4 straight matches. Pretty solid weekend, Coach. Win at Pittsburgh State in 4. Sweep Newman on Saturday. You have your setter, Nessa Johnson, exceeding 3,000 career assists over the weekend as well. Just thoughts on the collective effort on the road?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get road wins, it's always good.
Yeah.
But I think Pitt was challenging at times for us.
Yeah.
They really gave us a run for our money in some areas. Like, I think we got blocked 18 times. That's not a stat I'm proud of. So they did a nice job on their end, scouting us and kind of taking away things that we like to do. I'm proud of my team. We got down by like 5 points in the second set and kind of chipped away and got back into it. And then that third set kind of just fell apart in our serve receive a little bit, which wasn't even allowing us to score very many points. So that's kind of why we lost that one. And then that fourth set kind of came alive again, and Holly found her footing and kind of did what Holly does. So
yeah, just some really good sets up. Pittsburgh State did win the third 25-20, but the Griffs come out of the gate at Pitt Friday, win the first 25-18, rally in the second 25-22, and then 25-18 again in the fourth. And you're right, Pittsburgh State with 18 blocks to help keep them in it, but Holly Helt 12 kills, Noelle Sutcliffe 11, Emma Sulker 10, and Nessa Johnson with 33 assists to reach 3,000 in her career, and Anna Weberg with 30 digs on the defense. Going to Newman on Saturday. Now, this is a match where, yeah, on paper, you're probably expected to perform and do well, and you guys did. 25-15, 25-12, 25-17, the 8th sweep of the season for Griffon Volleyball, the 2nd in conference play. How about the serving? 15 aces, and Griffin's hit 316, and yet just 41 kills. No one had double-digit kills, so a very even effort for the Griffins throughout. Yeah, and your 4th straight win as well. Just a nice way to end the weekend right there.
Yeah, it wasn't a pressure-filled game or anything, but I feel good because we were able to kind of find our serving groove again. We kind of lost that for a little bit, so now I can kind of, I'm going to say throw it in their faces, like, oh, we can serve tough when we want to. So, there's a little silver lining for that match. But I was able to get some kids playing time that haven't really played a lot this year, so that was nice for me just to be able to mix some new faces in.
Now, I know this is another busy Monday for you because we're getting ready to play another Tuesday match. We go to Liberty to take on William Jewell College. That's a 6 o'clock start. Now, Jewell, struggling a bit. They're 7-14 overall, but they're not afraid of the MIAA. They've already played Washburn, Emporia State, Newman, even took a set from Emporia and Newman earlier this season, and we'll play him at the Mabee Center at 6 o'clock. How much have you been able to scout Jewell, and what kind of stands out about this one?
I've scouted them 0 so far.
Okay.
I rewatched our Pitt game this morning, so I'll get to that this afternoon. But we did play them early on in the year. We scrimmaged them our first weekend out, so we have seen them.
That's right.
They look very different. They have a new coach, but they have a returning outside who's just an absolute animal. She hits the ball harder than probably anyone you've ever seen hit it. So she's definitely someone that's going to take our attention today, and we're going to have to do a good job slowing her down. But it's probably going to be more focused on what our side looks like and just controlling what we can control on that, and then just playing our game is going to be kind of the theme.
Well, one team you've already scouted earlier this season is our opponent on Saturday as we get back to MIAA play and take on Northwest, a 2 o'clock start from the Missouri Western Fieldhouse. Chance for redemption for the Griffs after a tough 5-set loss in Maryville. That was 2 weeks ago this coming Tuesday. Bearcats, though, they played a really hard non-conference schedule. Didn't have the best record entering conference play, but they've gotten it together. 6-3 in the league. They've won 3 straight, 4 of their last 5. Just thinking back to that match on Tuesday, what are the key things that you hope to improve as you get ready to see the Bearcats a second time?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think that game was as well executed on our end that it was. It was a very high dig match. I thought that we did a very poor job of cataloging what was working and what wasn't working. I mean, we allowed their libero to have like a career dig night, which is just stupid because just stop hitting at her, you know. So I think we can do a better job of executing the scout this time. We need people to step up that didn't step up last time in critical moments. We were up 2-1 on them, and it was 13-13 in the fourth set, and then we let a 5-point lead just completely ruin the rest of our match. So we seem to be a little bit tougher this time and show up, and we need the kids that have been playing really well for us just to be big in those moments.
Yeah, and on Saturday, it's also Alumni Day, so several of our Griffon Volleyball alum will be in the house. It's also a blackout day, so you're encouraged to wear your black and paint it black at the Missouri Western Fieldhouse. And I probably wasn't going to ask, but again, Cody Ingold brought up rankings. You guys have been receiving votes, but no one has ranked this team quite yet. We'll see what happens this week, but how much does that matter? It varies, I think, depending on who you talk to, but how much does it matter to you if the Griffs are ranked or unranked?
0.
Okay.
It matters 0 to me.
Yeah.
Maybe on a recruiting side, I think it's
Sure.
like flashy for like recruits to see that you're ranked. But for me, national rankings is just stupid. You know, like half the coaches that are voting don't even really pay attention to what's going on. I would much rather be ranked high regionally than nationally at this point. So I think we've had a good season. I think we've done some great things. And so if we keep continuing that trend, it'll probably happen for us. But I would rather just put our heads down, worry about winning each game because we got a tough schedule left to play, so I don't want our heads to get mixed up in rankings when we need to be worried about winning.
Well, for those of us that are, involved in Division II, the main thing I always tell people, the only rankings that actually matter are the regional rankings. And we'll learn more about that in the weeks ahead as Missouri Western is at William Jewell tomorrow at 6, home to Northwest this Saturday at 2. So, Saturday, you can get up in the morning, go out and support cross-country, giving you more than enough time to get over to the Fieldhouse and support the Griffs in a rivalry match against Northwest. The Griffins on a good streak right now, winners of 4 straight. And, hey, this will only be the 5th home match of the season on Saturdays. If you haven't had a chance to get out and watch, please do so this Saturday. Coach Fye, congrats on the results this weekend, and good luck this week. Appreciate the time. There you go, Jessica Fye. Time to rank the Griffs, I would say. We've ranked soccer. Time to get volleyball in there as well. Put some respect on the name, to say the least. Let's take a break, and it's time to talk football as we're in the second half hour. Tyler Fenwick is here. We'll recap the homecoming game with Nebraska Kearney and talk about a bye week. Yeah, we haven't gotten to, I don't think ever, talk about a bye week in Division II football and look ahead just a little bit to the next opponent, which is Central Oklahoma. That comes up Friday, November 2nd in the Hall of Fame weekend. So we'll recap football with Coach Fenwick next. It's the GSI Podcast from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill. Welcome back to the GSI Podcast from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill in St. Joseph. I'm Tommy Rezach. Glad to have you along on a Monday as we talk football. Missouri Western had their homecoming game this past Saturday against conference rival Nebraska Kearney, a game that was televised on 38 The Spot, and a game that just had a lot going on, a lot of ups and downs, and perhaps for some a deeply personal game as that thing got chippy, and it came down to the last play, a field goal for Kearney. That's what it took for us to beat the Lopers last year, and Kearney sneaks out 24-23. Coach Tyler Fenwick is here, and Coach, I know they're trying to pick you up after a tough weekend, but no easy way to go about that one. I know you guys are hurting, and it's just another close game that we're right there, and it's just coming up a little bit short. I know you guys had a chance to meet and watch the film. Going into a bye week, I think at a good time. Just I don't know, where is the headspace right now after a game like that?
Yeah, bye weeks are, it's. Everybody says that's a good time for bye week, but I got to sit on this loss for 2 weeks too.
Yeah, I
you know what I mean? It's like one of those double-edged swords. But yeah, I mean, it's a the bye week is a good time for us to get healthy and kind of recharge. Try to figure out. It's a good time for reflection. Yeah. To kind of do some self-scout and see what we're good at and what we're not. Where we're making the mistakes over an 8-week span, because there's a lot of the same mistakes that are happening in critical situations. And so how do we handle that, and how do we work on that this week? So I think we can really break some things down and focus on some things that we've struggled with, and situationally, maybe it's third down, maybe it's red zone, maybe it's whatever the situation is, but we can kind of focus on that. And then I think the other part of it is making sure that we get recover and feel fresh going into UCO, and have a chance to maybe look at some of our young guys and kind of get them some reps, since they're always on scout team, and they you don't pay as much attention to them as you normally would in spring. So it kind of gives us a chance to evaluate those guys and see where they're at and make them feel like they're back a part of things and all that. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just frustrating game, and I was up late after the game Saturday night, just watching it over and over again, trying to figure out, trying to make sense of it all, and because I never really felt like we were not in control of the game.
Correct. Yeah.
Even when they scored and brought it within 2, I felt like, okay, we can move the ball down the field, we can chew up some clock, we can, and then I think we had a 9-play drive until we had a penalty that kind of put us back. It should have been a first down. We get a penalty, gets us into 3rd and 2, and we got to, try to get a first down, and we take a sack and we got to punt it. So, and we just can't get a stop at the end. So,
right.
But I just, until then, I never really felt like we were that we were struggling. We kept shooting ourselves in the foot with different things. The interception. I mean, the ball's batted at the line of scrimmage and it goes to the corner's hands. I mean, that's one of those things where that's a tough one. It's necessarily nobody's fault. It's not the quarterback's fault. No. I thought Burwald overall, he played really well.
Yes.
And kind of kept the chains moving for us and completed 60% of his passes and ran the ball well when we needed to run the ball and kept us balanced.
Yeah. It was a difficult game to kind of just get a grasp on. Think about what happened in the first 17 seconds. Kearney gets the ball to start. Yeah. Reagan Jones is welcomed back with a strip sack from Grant Finley, recovered by Brandon Johnson. And yes, we scored on the next play. It was a fumble that somehow Tyler Carey's able to recover. There's 3 defenders there, and Carey picks it up for the touchdown, and then boom, the point after misses.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the first 17 seconds, almost a tone setter on the day. And then as we talked about in postgame, like that 3rd quarter, it's like, man, it seemed like both teams are kind of shooting their toes off there for a while. So that in mind, how tough is it in a game like that to get a grasp on things, get in a rhythm when we just didn't know what was going to happen from one snap to the next?
Yeah, I felt like offensively we were able to get ourselves in a rhythm because we had one 3 and out or 4 and out. We went through a 4th down and didn't get it.
You're right. Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I felt like we were putting together drives and moving the ball down the field, and it was really the times, honestly, where we had short fields that we weren't able to capitalize on it.
Yeah.
We had the ball on the 3-yard line, and we fumbled the snap, and we had another short field that didn't end up coming with, had a field goal blocked, and so. Just their opportunities are all there, and we got to take advantage of it. And that's one of the things we talked about, yesterday. I mean, we had a 9-point lead going into the 4th quarter. Our defense gets an unbelievable 4 and out, 4th and 1 stop, short field, and we got to capitalize. We have to, as a team, we have to learn how to have that killer instinct to say, let's go put the game away. And we try to go with a double move and try to put it away. And some things fell apart in protection. We weren't able to get it off. We had to play what we wanted, but it's just things like that were fun. And we have to have that killer instinct that when it's time to put the game away, we need to put it away. We up 9 and decided to kick a field goal and we get it blocked. I mean, that puts you up. He puts you up 12. Yeah. And now it becomes a 2-touchdown. They got to score twice. So those are the things that are just really frustrating, that you're trying to put your finger on. What do we do? How do we fix? Where do we go? Is it a psychological thing? Is it a mental thing? Is it is it something that we can't panic when we get there and we just kind of get to the next step? And I think that's I keep saying this, but it's part of the process and it's part of the growth and it's part of the maturity of some of these guys. But you look out there, there's a lot of young guys playing, and they're playing well, but not consistently enough. And so there's some things, where, we made mistakes as coaches and probably, maybe could have made a different decision here or there. And you always second guess yourself and could have done this. But, ultimately, we just, as a whole, we have to be more consistent. And unfortunately, that's what I keep saying.
Yeah, and unfortunately, probably a game that's just characterized by just empty opportunities. There were 5 drives where Missouri Western ended the drive in Kearney territory without points. And then we talked to the kicking game, some points left on the field there, a couple of PATs, one that was blocked. The first one, I couldn't tell if it was blocked or just a miss, but did want to ask you about that. We've had 7 PATs that have not gone through for various reasons. Now a field goal blocked as well. We know Cody's an excellent kicker, first team all-conference this past year, and he had made 7 straight field goals before that one was blocked in the second half. So is there a common denominator there? I've said on the broadcast, I know it's probably keeping Coach McQuillan up at night. I guess what's kind of all those PATs?
Well, field goal is Throck's expertise. I mean, Throck is in charge of field goal, and it's keeping him up at night. That's for sure. And it's a mixture. And I mean, the PAT was, he just missed it and hit the upright. It didn't get blocked. Okay. The second one got blocked. I think either the second or third one, we had some little bit of penetration through the B gap that they got through there, and that's a protection issue. So I mean, it's a number of different things, and so it's not always on the kicker. Sure. And sometimes with those PATs, we got to get the ball up. They're going to jump, and they had some tall guys, but we got to get the ball up in the air and get it over, and so it's not the lack of that we don't have Cody's proven that he's a good kicker.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that with all the mishaps, I think that can get in your head. And that can kind of chew on your confidence a little bit. And not only just him, I mean, I think as a team, when, you miss a PAT, I mean, that, it kind of, it's a letdown, from the whole team. And so we got to be, you can't give away points. I mean, it's at 1 point, and you look at the end of the game, it's a 2-point game. We have an opportunity to, we have 5 points that we left out on the table, for whatever reason. Well, now it's a whole different ball game if we're getting those points. So we can't, we can't give them away.
Yeah. Well, we know how big that is last year because we blocked a bunch of kicks as a team last season as well.
This whole season, I feel like, is the complete opposite of last season. I mean, it's just it's a complete. I mean, you think about all the field goals that we've blocked and the punts that we've blocked, and we haven't gotten any of those this year. We had 1 blocked field goal, I think, but. Yep. Things, just end of game, field goals that we hit that we're not hitting this year, end of game plays that we're making that we're not getting this year. It's kind of it's just the flip side of it. So, but you try to find answers. Yeah. And you try to find reasoning behind all of it. And, when you have an experienced team like we did last year, we had a lot more experience. You find a way to come through with those things. And, this year we're kind of learning, going through the process and the growing pains and all that stuff. And I hate it because we've got some really good seniors, Brandon Johnson and Jonas Bennett, and they're helping us kind of go through those things. But, you hate it for those guys.
Yeah. Well, speaking of seniors, Jonas was here last week, and I think he remarked even after the Pitt game and again this week that, in his mind, a guy that's been on our campus 6 years, he said there's nowhere else he wants to be, not thinking about what's ahead. He just wants to finish strong with his brothers, with the guy on his right and his left. That in mind, with these next 3 games, I mean, how important is it for the seniors to send them out right and for guys to kind of rally around them?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it, and that's easy to say, and you want to rally behind them.
Sure.
But, ultimately, as a program, we just need to find a way to get wins, and we got a tough one coming up in 2 weeks with UCO. I mean, they're putting up a bunch of points, and so it's again, you come in the next Sunday and you go, well, it doesn't get any easier, so we got to figure it out. We got to figure it out quickly, and we got to continue to try to fix mistakes. And there is progress. I think we've seen some progress throughout the season. And every game is its own. It's its own book. Every game is its own personality, and different things arise, and it's. And so you may not see it in week 1 through 7, but then you see something come up in week 8 that, we got to learn from that mistake. And so, but I don't know, that's part of it. But I mean, we're in every game. Yeah. And I don't think that there's any game that we've been in where I sit there and I go, well, that team was just better than us. And that's not the case. And it's every game has been a situation where, if we play more consistently or if we can execute, then we're going to come out on top, and we just got to get it done.
Yeah, 3 losses now this year by a single possession. And we won't dive too deep into Central Oklahoma, but it is worth noting they're playing this Saturday at home against Pittsburgh State, a game that's going to have a lot of MIAA playoff implications in that regard. But, yeah, just on the surface, scoring a bunch. They scored 64 points in a 64-57 win at Northeastern State. So a shootout in the President's Cup on Saturday, averaging over 50 a game, averaging almost 600 yards. I know they're a great rushing team. Plenty to keep you busy over the next 12 days right there, huh?
Yeah, it'll keep us busy among other things. I mean, you sit there and you say bye week, and you think you're taking a week off, but that's not the case. It's probably more so, because not only are we going to start looking at UCO, but we're also looking at ourselves, and so we'll do some self-scout stuff. We'll jump into some recruiting and get ahead on recruiting. So it's not like we get to sit back and just wait and see what happens. I mean, there's a lot going on in the bye week.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about it throughout the year. This is a team that's playing hard and working hard to figure out the answers. Even in games that haven't gone our way, this is a team that's been battling to the end in all the games. So hopefully some better fortunes ahead of us on the other side of the bye week as the next game comes up Saturday, November 2nd, the Rogers Pharmacy Hall of Fame game against the best team in the league, Central Oklahoma, the only unbeaten left, and then Northwest and Quincy after that in November to round out the regular season. Coach Fenwick, thanks for the time, and we'll see you next week.
Okay.
And we'll have Coach Fenwick up for the panel as well. So we'll take a break. We'll welcome all of our head coaches back to wrap up the show right after this from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill. We're back.
It gets me all fired up.
Well, I'm glad you like it. That's it.
Yeah. I met a guy this weekend. And I'm sorry, I know you have things you want to talk about. But,
No, go ahead.
I meant to tell you earlier. From Georgia that listens all the time, and
Really?
he said he loves the show. Like he listens to it every Tuesday morning. I played baseball here in the mid-'90s, so it was pretty cool. I don't know if he saw me and recognized me because he says he listens, but I was talking to somebody else, and he's like, "Hey, are you a coach?" So my unique nasally voice was picked up by him. So yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that on the.
No problem.
Yeah, this is the roundtable of irrelevancy, but
that was relevant.
I love hearing the feedback. Well, I appreciate it. Well, coaches, I'm looking for some feedback, so maybe some advice. I'm just curious to pick your brains. So I have a lease in my apartment. It's coming up this winter. I'm kind of deciding what to do: rent, buy, apartment, house, yada yada. I think all of us, from our home states to all the jobs we've taken. We've all moved a lot, so I'm just curious, coaches, what was maybe like the worst moving experience you had, or whether it was the place that you lived in or the process? What's like a learning lesson through moving that you go, whew, never again?
Me and Jake stayed in an abandoned dorm for a couple years together.
Really?
Yeah. Bats and all.
They
said, hey, here you go.
Yep.
It was brutal.
GAs and some of the new coaches, while they were still waiting for a place to live, would live there, and that was a interesting time for sure.
It was free though.
Yeah, it was free.
Can't beat free, Tommy.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Can't beat free.
Jess, Tyler, anything come to mind there?
I mean, anytime you move to Western Colorado and you have to drive U-Hauls over mountain passes, it's not like the most fun experience, but we survived.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Gosh, there's so many stories.
Yes.
Probably need to bring my wife up here because she's the one that ends up doing all the moving. Probably when I got to Southeastern, we stayed in a dorm, and it was me and Coach Throckmorton and Coach Johnson all living in a dorm for 4 months.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
God, it sounds like a great time.
Oh, no, it's the most unhealthy thing because
So
you
fun.
can only imagine. It's like going back to college, and you realize
Exactly. I'd have a great time.
You actually realize how important it is to have your wife in your life because the amount of cookies and cereal, like literally, like you'd think that we were 18 years old. I mean, it was so bad. There was a point where I was like, okay, I can't. I feel unhealthy, and I need to throw all this stuff and just eat salmon for like 2 weeks to get back on track. It was rough.
Well, before I lived in St. Joseph, I lived in a basement-level apartment in Crookston, Minnesota. I remember it was May of 2020, so obviously an odd time. I look out my window. It's snowing on like May the 5th, and I'm kind of going like, what did I do? But I ended up here, so all's well that ends well. So, coaches, getting back to kind of sports and the profession of coaching and things, we know, working in this industry is stressful, win or lose, game or practice. Cody Ingold with the assist on this one. If it's a long or frustrating day on the job, do you have a vice or a guilty pleasure? What do you do to unwind after these stressful days on the job? Cody, you brought it up, so maybe you lead off.
Little Debbie snack cakes and beating up on little kids in Fortnite is my
my
go-to.
gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know where that was going.
I didn't either. I was like, stop talking.
No, I'm a gamer at heart. Like I gamed my whole life, so like if I can find an hour of free time, and I don't usually play like my wife or my kids are home, like
Sure.
it's just me. Yeah, that's where you'll find me in front of my Xbox.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I game a little bit, but I also, taking the dog for a walk, or
Yeah.
Oh my
or going and
So
getting a
corny.
blizzard.
He said he had something way better dialed up, but he went PC.
No,
it's
no,
cool.
no. It's
cool, man.
again, just trying to do something, again to keep your mind active and not on, all the stresses and things. But
We used to live in the same building.
Yeah.
You have a husky, right?
Yeah.
What's the dog's name?
Her name's Kiska. She actually just turned 6 yesterday.
Oh,
so
she's pretty happy
I
birthday,
missed her
Kiska.
birthday being on the road, so I'm going to go let her get a pup cup today and, get her a treat.
Well, from one dog dad to the other, congrats on that. Coaches, how about you? What do you do to unwind at the end of a stressful day?
Gosh, I must not be normal.
I want to hear yours, and then I'll go. Because
I
mine might
don't
be
know.
worse.
I don't know. I was up at 1:30 watching UCO and Northeastern this morning. I guess that I don't have a lot of things that I unwind.
It sounds like Will Martin. He says he makes popcorn and M&Ms and just stays up all night.
I value sleep.
I just want to be left alone.
Yeah.
My poor husband.
Just
I'm like, just leave me alone.
Just peace.
Yeah. Go downstairs, watch football. I'll be up here not talking to someone.
I will say after games, like win, lose, or draw, on the road, at home, doesn't matter. I'm so exhausted, but I'm also so worked up still that it's like 2 a.m., sometimes 3 a.m. before I can even, try to get some sleep or rest.
You need a good pillow. I don't have a problem. 8 o'clock. I find
So you sleep fine during season is what you're saying?
all the time.
Oh, yeah.
No matter
Sleep,
what. My
what's
poor
that?
wife, mid-conversation.
Oh, my.
Don't let me lay down.
No wonder he has so much energy on a Monday. Yeah, he just sleeps.
Hey, one thing I did is I heard someone say, like, when your kids sleep, you sleep. Like, that's what someone told me when we had
I think
Oliver.
it's when the baby sleeps, you sleep.
Yeah, kid, whatever.
Okay.
But I kept it as I keep it going. My kids go to bed, I go to bed. Because that one right there sitting at the table woke me up this morning at 4:15. It's like, Dad, can we go downstairs? I'm like,
Oh, my gosh.
I guess. Like, I'm up now. So, yeah.
Hard to get back to sleep at that point. Last thing, coaches, I was looking ahead to this week. This coming Thursday, October 24th, is National Food Day. Now, Tyler had talked to food earlier in the segment. Now, hopefully, Coach, you'd have a more ideal meal than what you described. But on National Food Day, if you could pick just like one thing or one meal, what's your ideal meal to celebrate National Food Day on Thursday?
I'd go a good skirt steak and macaroni and cheese.
Nice.
Real Mexican food.
Real Mexican
Real
food.
Mexican food. Like, not Taco Bell, but like the good stuff.
The-
Anything, and like, it's got to be spicy.
Anything in like a taco truck to me is just delicious.
It's spicy, greasy. Ugh.
Love it.
I'm so hungry.
Hold us together.
I'm so hungry again.
Probably candy. I don't want real food. Just give me like sweets or something.
Any candy in
Yeah.
particular?
Depends on the day. Chocolate, Skittles, Sour Patch Kids. You just never know.
Have you had the nerd clusters?
The best.
Those are good.
really good.
Yeah.
The best.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tyler?
Red or pink, or pink or blue.
I'd go with pesto pasta with a Italian sausage. That's what I would go with.
Is that what your wife's
That's
making
my
tonight? Is that like, are you just trying to win
Plug
one
it in.
over?
Throwing that out to the universe.
She's not listening.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, I'll end it with, if you could ban a food on National Food Day, like forever, what would it be?
Sauerkraut. Golly, that smells awful.
Ketchup.
Anything that has a true mustard taste.
We went out one night, and Jake's in the back, and we're going through McDonald's, and this was a long, long time ago. And they're like, he's in the back, he's like, no mustard, I'll puke.
I just can't do mustard. I don't know why.
And I still get blamed for it. Every time we talk about it in text conversation, I'm the one that gets blamed, and I love mustard.
Yeah. I caught so much crap from you. We went to like a work lunch. I ordered cottage cheese as a side.
Oh, that's
The whole table flipped. I don't
Tommy,
understand.
I have so many milk cups in my house that look like cottage cheese right now that you can have. I'm sure there's something in the couch right now.
Well, I think
I'm sure my daughter buried something in her room that I'll find in a couple months. I'll bring it in. You can eat it. It'll be just, put a little pepper on there. You'll be good to go.
Well, I was hungry. Thanks for that. Tyler, what would you ban in the Fenwick house if you could for just food, bad food?
God, I'm very picky eater, so there's
Really?
probably a lot of things.
Me
that
too.
I eat almost anything, so this is hard for me.
Yeah, I mean anything. I don't know. There's a lot of things that I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that right now.
He has too many
What
thoughts
did
coming
you
to his head.
say?
Sauerkraut.
Yeah, I'm not a big
Yeah,
fan.
sauerkraut.
That's no fun. I don't know. There's a lot of things.
The worst food ever is like I ate dates once, never again. It's just like a huge shriveled raisin that tastes like garbage. But
Maybe kind of good.
beyond that, like I'll eat anything. I'll eat vegetables and seafood, all of it. So that's good stuff. Thursday, October 24th.
You just named two very basic things.
Yeah. I eat
I'll
seafood and
eat
vegetables.
corn and salmon.
Very
Corn's
little,
not a vegetable.
Yeah, very little I won't touch if you put in front of me. That's National Food Day this Thursday, in case you're interested. Coaches, thank you for the time. Good luck this week. Tyler, enjoy the bye, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys at the cross-country course, 10 a.m.
Yeah, 10,
Be there.
10 and 11 a.m. for the MIAA cross-country championships. Volleyball's home at 2, soccer home Friday at 7, and Sunday at 1. So even though there's no football, still a plethora of things to choose from here on our campus. That's the GSI podcast for today. I'm Tommy Rezach. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next Monday the 28th at noon. Until then, see you next time, and please subscribe to our podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. Just search Griffon Sports Insider. So long, everybody.